Hello and welcome to another episode from the Water's Edge, and today you catch up with us at Broome Pits on a Baltically cold day. It is absolutely freezing, but we're playing our first fish, and the reason we've come down today is we're going to be taking a look at one of my favourite winter methods, certainly as it gets really cold like it is now, and that is PVA bag fishing. Now there's a few reasons why that becomes my favourite, which I'll explain throughout the session. But we've been fishing for about 10 minutes and we've already caught one. So I'm going to concentrate on getting this one in, and then hopefully we'll have a fish to show you. Well, that is a right result. I actually said to Chris when we got in the car, it's the first frost we've had in the last perhaps 10 days. And I said it's typical. The day we come out and try and catch a fish is the coldest day of easily the week, but probably the fortnight. But that has put me in good spirits because we've been fishing, like I said, first cast, probably 10 minutes, and we've already had one. A cracking little common. He's absolutely freezing, but he's certainly welcome, and he's brightened up our early morning start. So we'll slip him back and we'll see if we can catch another one. There we go. What a mega start that is. If someone had said to me as I woke up, you're going to catch one on your first cast within 10 minutes, I would have snapped their hand off. So hopefully there's a few more of those to come. But while we're out of the water, it's a great time to talk to you a little bit more about the method. Now, as I said, we're fishing PVA bags today. So really simple for anyone who's never heard of them or used them. There's many different forms of PVA. You can get solid bags, string, tape. Today I'm using the mesh bags. But what it does is it actually is a product that dissolves in water. So you can put in any particular food particle you want, as long as it's obviously PVA friendly. You cast that in, and within a couple of minutes in this cold water, that'll be melted and presents a nice little neat parcel of food around your hook. Rig wise, really simple. I've just got a lead clip set up here, an ounce lead, about a foot hook link, and a size 16 hook with a bait band on. So really nothing complicated, and like I said, it is very, very simple. But I did state at the start that when it gets really cold, the reason why I use PVA bag fishing is because of the versatility it lets me use on bait wise. So yeah, I use every kind of method throughout the year. I use the method feeder, the banjo feeder, the hybrid, all those sort of things, and they are brilliant. But what they don't allow you to do is fish a huge variety of baits, which PVA bags does. So as I'm using the stocking bags, like I said, I'm tying those bags up, and literally, as long as it's PVA friendly, I can use all sorts of baits. But I'll touch on those throughout the session because I'm really eager to get out there and see if I can have another one. So I'm going to just get back out on the pellet. The only other thing to mention, I've got a couple of rods set up today. One being because I've got a really good spot on the far side, which is a tree line margin, and I'm going to hopefully concentrate my efforts on there. It looks the best spot in my swim, and we've already had a bite there. But I have got another rod set up, and that's the purpose of that is not clipped up, and it means that I can rove it anywhere in my water. So it just basically, this time of year, they sit in small shoals and you do have to find them. So that's ready to fire out there. Little pellet hook bait, tiny little bag, and again, beauty of PVA mesh bags, that lets you decide for the side of bag that you want. So I'm going to fire this out there. Hopefully there's going to be another one not too far away. So I'm clipped up, cast nice and hard, hit the clip, and that plops in nicely right next to those trees. It does look so good. So all I'm going to do now is concentrate on sinking that line. I've only got an ounce lead on here, like I mentioned, so take your time sinking that line. It's really important not to move it. I'm going to pop it on the rest, and hopefully we're not going to be too much longer before another fish is in the net. Well, there we go, second cast, second bite. This time we pinged out a little ground bait bag, and actually a little dry ground bait bag, which I'll explain now what I'm planning this in. It's a little way out there. So basically it's more of a single hook bait, so the dry ground bait will actually float, but what it's doing is, in the PVA bag that I make, I'm casting it to the spot. It's then going to be buoyant and popping up my hook bait, because in this time of year you get a lot of sort of debris and leaves certainly on the bottom, so that just allows me to literally get my hook bait away, and then a little bit of ground bait, a couple of pellets in there, that will sort of rain over the hook bait, the rest of it will float up. So it's a real sort of single hook bait tactic, and again, another reason why PVA bags is a nice way to do it, because you just couldn't do that with any other form of method. You know, you could put ground bait out there, you could put pellets out there, but you couldn't get that sort of suspended in the water floating dry ground bait bag, which I really do like. That's probably my number one, but he's starting to come in now. Looks like a fairly decent fish, so we'll concentrate on this one and we'll have another fish to show you. Is a right result. That's slightly bigger than the other one, and this time of year you wouldn't need many fish like that to class it as a good day's fishing, or if you were match fishing, to give yourself a good chance of being in a show. And like I said, this one fell to the all famous for me little dry ground bait bag. It is an ultra for me, one that must try if you haven't. Like I said, just make sure that your hook bait is out of the way of those debris leaves on the bottom, and that can be a real pain sometimes. Just a simple thing like that, making sure you've got a clean hook bait, can make a difference. I think it's time we experimented with a few other baits, so we'll slip this one back and I'll talk you through exactly why it is so versatile and the baits that I've got with me today. There we go, 2 from 2. It doesn't get much better than that this time of year. That gives us a real good opportunity to talk you through the baits that we've brought us today, because let's face it, the reason why I'm fishing this method is because, like I said, it gives us versatility. Now, I literally could go on pretty much every bait. There's not a lot you can't put in PVA, but I bring my favourites with me and a few options to give me so many different chances of catching. Let's say when bites are hard, switching it up can make a big difference. So the first one is pellets. Now again, in PVA bag you can fish if you want 8mm, 6mm, 4mm or micro pellet, and here's that versatility again, a word you'll hear a lot in this video. But a little bag of those, you can select what fish you want. If you're getting plagued by roach or smaller fish on micro pellets, you could put 6 or 8mm pellets in and try and catch yourself a carp. Obviously I've already touched on the ground bait, and I fish that dry. Like I said, a little floating bag that floats off, rains over a little bit of hook bait, and it sits amongst the debris. That is probably my number one. We've got with us crushed boilies. Now a really good reason for that is because certainly little waters like this with a lot of sort of smallish to sort of mid-double perhaps size carp, they attract carp anglers. You know, winter they want to get a bite, they come out and they fish boilies in these kind of waters, and the fish just get used to them. They become a natural feed particle. So boilies always comes with me, and again, crush those up, a couple of whole ones, whatever you want to do in your little stocking bag. That's another thing you can't put out any other way. I've also got some liquidized bread, and that just gets you a bite when other things can't. We've done a method on the actual bread method feeder last year, I think it was, maybe even the year before, and it was so obvious that fish would eat a lot more bread than they would sort of pellets. I think they were just getting less food and they weren't getting full as quick. So that was another one that made a big difference. And like I said, the list just goes on. You can bring maggots, but I know there's a load of silverfish in this, we haven't brought maggots. You could even fish corn, you could dry it off so you don't melt the bag up, and like I said, it just goes on and on and on. It is your own imagination to what you can put in these bags, and using the stocking that I've done, how big you make them. So you can make them literally like 5p piece, or you can make them sort of, you know, a big sort of golf ball size if you wanted to. But how I fish it is try and get one mouthful. You're not trying to feed the fish. This is a very much a method that one cast, one fish comes up, he picks a whole lot in one go, and your hook bait's in amongst it as well. So I'm going to stay with a pellet hook bait. Again, hook baits are quite important because they give you more options. So I tend to bring myself a few different colours of pellets. That tends to be for me the staple of my hook bait. Different flavours, different colours of pellets, different sizes. You could put some maggots, you could put a couple of grains of corn on as well. So now you start putting all this together, different things in a bag, different hook baits. There's just so many options you can do, which is exactly why I love this. So I'll come off the ground bait. Like I said, I'm going to change it up a bit. This one's got a bit of crumb boilie in. Real nice sweet one this time. This is the Hinder's Beetle Nana, and it's really sweet. It's got some beetle in it and smells absolutely amazing. So that's now going to go out there as well, and hopefully we'll have a bite on that. If not, the beauty of it is we know the ground bait is working because we've had 2 fish in 2 casts. So is it the fact that that's keeping it nicely out of the way of all the leaves on the bottom? We don't know. Until you try things, you don't know. So the line's wet now, so it's sinking nice and quick, and hopefully it won't be too long before we catch another bite, but if we don't, we'll give it perhaps 10 or 15 minutes, we'll switch to something else and see if something else works. And it's all about building the picture in your head, what's best in the day, what's best in the venue. As soon as you work that out, you are in for a really good day's fishing. While we're just waiting for the next bite, it gives me a real good opportunity to talk to you about the newest thing I've added to my tackle, and it will probably surprise a few people, and loads of people have done this for ages, but I think I was always a bit skeptical as does it make a difference, and that is a stopwatch. So basically, as soon as I cast out, this gets clicked on, so I know exactly how long it's been out there for. Now, it's been out there nearly 2 minutes now, but what I have noticed is already, the few fish that I've caught, a couple of fish, is the bites have been 8 minutes and 14 minutes. So I'm starting to build up a window of roughly how long possibly it's going to take me to get a bite. Now, I don't know if that's because they're scared of when the splash goes in, they're spooking it's taken that long to come back in, or if they're on a patrol route somewhere. That's not really relevant. You just need to know roughly how long it's going to take to get a bite. I always used to wear a watch when I was match fishing, and that was great. I knew how long I was fishing for, so I'd fish like 20 minutes without a bite, fine, reel it in, cast out again. But what I never done was clocked and logged how long it took me to get those bites. So as soon as I cast out, I click the stopwatch, and as soon as I get a bite, I click it again, and I actually physically make a point of looking at the time. And then what that's done, I think what it saved me doing, is potentially leaving it out there too long. So if you get 4 or 5 fish and you work out your window is, say, I don't know, 8 to 15 minutes. I'm not saying get to 15 minutes and reel it in exactly then. Maybe leave it a couple minutes longer, but it's pointless leaving it half hour. That's what I'm trying to make the point of. It could be that your rig is tangled, it's not sitting right, it's tangled around a twig, something isn't right. And you know, if you're leaving it out there half an hour when you've had all your bites within 10 minutes, you've wasted a lot of fishing time. So that's a really good addition. I was a bit skeptical to it, but it's definitely made a difference to me. Log the times, log your bite times, put that into your fishing. Any type of feeder fishing, I would do that, and it will start to build you a real clear picture up of how long you should be waiting. There you go, another bite, and this one took a little bit longer actually, and I'd gone a couple of casts without a fish, and I thought just before I changed location, perhaps they've moved from where I was catching or something like that, I'd give a cast a little bit longer. And this one, 1802 this one was, so it took quite a bit longer than the other ones, but all importantly we've got another bite, so it was worth giving it that extra time. Doesn't mean that next time it's going to take that long, but it means that there's still fish potentially in the area, which is good. So I don't need to cast around and try and find them just yet, but it feels like another decent fish. We'll take the time with him. There's no need to rush this time of year when, you know, in a match situation, you 4 or 5 bites could win some matches depending on where you're fishing, but only a pleasure session today. We still want to land everything, so take your time, enjoy it. You've worked hard for a winter bite. This is the best bit. He made us wait that little bit longer, but cool, wow, he was really lightly hooked. How that didn't come out, I don't know. But the fish in here are mega. They're so pristine, like they really are good looking, good conditioned fish, full of life still. Certainly for this time of year, they normally sit there and do nothing, but yeah, they really are smart looking fish. They don't look like they've been fished for or caught too many times. A credit really to the fishery. But yeah, waited a little bit longer for it, still kept on that same spot. I think I'll give it another one go out there and see what happens. If I wait too much longer, I'll perhaps move, or you know, it is winter, it's getting cold, so we don't know how many more casts we're going to give it, but he'll do for us. Certainly another welcome reward. It's getting a bit cold now, but it's really good fishing, still catching. But as that one did take a little bit longer, I think what I'll do is I'll get another cast prepared now. But the last tip that I can sort of give to you with this style of fishing, and to get even more out of it, is use liquid enhancements. So all the attraction we've put in there now is sometimes good enough on its own, but if it's really hard, then adding a bit of liquid can really make the difference. So same as always, I've just got a little pellet. I don't know why, red seems to be good at the minute. Red Tutti Frutti I've got at the moment, that seems to be working. This time I've gone for a little crushed bag of Boilies, but on there, so there's two flavours I've got today. I've got the Hinders White Plum and I've got the Corda Pineapple Goo. Two of my favourites, and literally all it's a case now, these are both PVA friendly, so any liquid you're going to use, make sure you use PVA friendly. It's just drizzle a little bit over the top of the bag and rub that in. So that's just an extra bit of flavour enhancement right around near your hook bait. You could even give your hook bait a little squirt as well, just for an extra bit of luck. But hopefully that now is going to be slightly more enticing for a fish and might drop our bite time down by a few minutes. Certainly if it does, we'll keep using it. But let's get that one fired out there. Same spot. There you go. Made a nice little green plume as it hit the water. That goo is quite bright, quite flavoursome, quite strong, and they certainly won't be missing it. But yeah, stopwatch on, see what happens there, see if it takes any longer this time. That one didn't take particularly very long, a little bit shorter, and certainly the introduction of that liquid made a difference. But I think, you know, it is winter, I am starting to get a bit cold, the wind's picked up a bit and it's freezing actually. It's blowing sort of, not hard, but it's blowing across into my face, and yeah, it's enough just to make it a little bit more uncomfortable. So I'll probably use this as my last fish. It's been a good day. We've experimented with different things. To be fair, we've caught on a multitude of different colour hook baits and pretty much anything in the bag. If I was picking anything, ground bait is probably the best, but that's probably me being a bit biased, and because I favour that, I cast it out more, I guess. But yeah, it's been really, really good. Hopefully we're going to have one last fish to show you if we just concentrate and get this one in. Well, there's not really a better way to end on than that. That is another one of those mega winter commons that are in here. They're really, really nice fish, and definitely, cool, look at that, he's angry, the fin's up. Definitely adding the liquid has brought the bite time down. 4 minutes 47 for that one, so definitely one to play around with. And holding you, mate, is making me even colder, so that is going to be it for me. I've really enjoyed it today, actually. Nice to get out in conditions. I know the sun's been, it has been cold, but it's been really enjoyable. So I hope you've enjoyed watching, but for now, we'll see you again on the next one.